Manila, the capital of the Philippines, has become a city on edge, normally filled with jeepneys, food vendors, and the hum of everyday life. Its streets are now the stage for one of the largest waves of protests in recent history. Luneta Park, famous for hosting celebrations and concerts, has been transformed into a sea of anger. Thousands have gathered here for weeks, holding banners, chanting slogans, demanding accountability from a government accused of letting corruption drown the nation. For many, this isn't just about stolen money. It's about homes lost, lives destroyed, and a political system that seems deaf to their suffering. The Philippines has always lived with typhoons. Each year, storms sweep across the islands, leaving damage in their wake. But this time was different. This time, entire towns vanished underwater. Thousands of families were forced into evacuation centers. Businesses closed. Roads and bridges collapsed. As the floodwaters rose, so did public anger, because reports revealed the tragedy wasn't just nature's fury. It was also human greed. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. admitted in July that massive corruption had crippled flood control projects. Investigations uncovered staggering details. 70% of the flood control budget stolen, admitted the Ministry of Economic Planning. $2 billion in losses between 2023 and 2025, according to the Ministry of Finance. $18 billion in damages when including long-term economic and environmental costs. Environmental groups warned. Funds meant to build dikes, drainage systems, and flood barriers had disappeared into politicians' pockets. The water wasn't the only thing destroying lives. Corruption had already done the job long before the rains came. Soon, the scandal had names. Nearly 30 members of the National Assembly and officials from key ministries were accused of approving ghost projects or inflating contracts in exchange for bribes. Public outrage grew when it was revealed that some flood control projects existed only on paper, money allocated, budgets approved, but nothing built. The political fallout was swift. The Speaker of the House resigned after accusations of receiving millions in kickbacks. The Senate leader was expelled after revelations linked contractors to his campaign financing. Both men denied wrongdoing. But for ordinary Filipinos, it was too much to ignore. Civil society groups like the Pagong Alliance Sangmakabayan called for prosecutions, asset seizures, and lifetime bans from public office for anyone involved. This is not just about floods, activist Teddy Casino told reporters. This is about a system that robs the people year after year while disasters keep coming. At Luneta Park, the protests grew larger by the day. Among the demonstrators was Ali Villarmasa, a 23-year-old nursing student. Standing in the rain, she shouted into a megaphone. They promised us protection from floods, but they protected only their bank accounts. Where's the justice? Her words went viral, spreading across social media and inspiring solidarity marches in Cebu, Davao, and other cities. As the crowd swelled, the government deployed riot police around key buildings. Clashes broke out. Tear gas hung in the air. But the protesters refused to leave. In some provinces, local governors publicly accused the national government of betrayal, demanding answers as their towns lay in ruins. The Philippines calls itself one of Asia's strongest democracies, with free elections, multiple parties, and a lively press. But the flood scandal revealed deep weaknesses. Too many political factions competing for power create chaos instead of accountability. Political dynasties dominate Congress, treating public funds as family inheritance. Short election cycles push leaders to enrich themselves before their rivals take over. Critics argue this democracy works for the elite, not the people. Protests, they say, have become the only tool left for citizens when institutions fail to deliver justice. President Marcos Jr. promised sweeping reforms, special investigations, and anti-corruption task forces. But trust in his administration is collapsing fast. Opposition leaders accuse him of protecting allies. International watchdogs demand independent investigations led by judges, not politicians. Even the Catholic Church, the country's moral compass, issued statements condemning corruption as a betrayal of the poor, calling for repentance and real accountability. With every passing day, promises sound emptier. The people want action, not words. Protest leaders have issued three main demands: criminal prosecution of all officials linked to the scandal, full recovery of stolen funds for reconstruction projects, independent oversight of all future infrastructure spending. Meanwhile, rumors swirl that the military is on standby if unrest spirals out of control, a chilling reminder of the Philippines' history with martial law. For now, demonstrations continue to grow louder, angrier, more determined. The floodwaters may have receded, but the political storm engulfing the Philippines is only getting stronger. Whether this leads to real reform or just another chapter of anger and disappointment remains to be seen.